Okay. And I am public and live. Alrighty then. Time to share links. Sounds like Dax may join us today. And I have an insane amount of tabs open. And even have Twitter open. Yeah, I probably should have restarted my computer and some audio. Not that that will attract a lot of viewers, but that's not really the point right now, is it? Okay. Alrighty then, let me get this game loading.
The steady
if you're wondering about the bars on the sides of the stream, my main monitor is actually higher res than 1080p, only slightly.
These are the signs of changing times.
It's
The lure,
16 by 10
scientific
aspect
and
ratio,
cultural
1920
advancements
by 1200.
is the engine driving your realm forward.
If I
now your challenge is to maintain the delicate balance between Earth and man,
to the screen,
between
it would
peace
be
and war. Embrace the chill winds of the
it
motherland.
would either be cut off on the bottom or it would be stretched. So.
Your fascination with science and culture is a gift, and you will learn much from your grand embassies to foreign lands. But under your rule,
not that
Russia will surely flourish and spread, absorbing all that lies around it, perhaps creating the greatest land empire seen on this earth.
Kind of a fun fact. I just bought a Razer Blade Pro GTX 1080 laptop, and I ran Civ VI on it last night. I was testing out, and it loads so quickly. Like he gets done with like the first paragraph talking, and it's already loaded and ready to go. It's insane. Eventually, someone's on. Eventually, I will be either moving the stream to the laptop if I can get my saves moved over, or I will have to abandon the playthrough because in January I am moving for about 3 months. I'm traveling for about 3 months. Not exactly moving, but so if you missed, I'm also installing software on it right now. If you missed last week, I conquered the Kunganese. They were in my way. Basically, you know, I started up here, they were right here, and so I had absolutely zero room to expand, which is no good. However, Pedro, Brazil, is attacking my my buddy Hatsusa over here, and so I was going to Cassius Belli, declare a protectorate war just to kill his units. I'm not gonna conquer him. I think he's only 1 or 2 cities anyway. But someone was watching, and then they decided not to. Oh, and it'd help if I actually shared the link on personal Facebook. I'm probably going to be setting up a yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
Você verá como lhe será infrutífero.
Facebook page just for the channel eventually. Probably not till next year would be my guess, by the way my work schedule is currently looking, but alright, so hopefully, yeah, it should be good. So I actually filmed a little unboxing video for the Razer Blade Pro. It is insanely cool little laptop. Has a 17.3-inch screen, which doesn't really look like it, but then again, I'm used to my dual 24-inch monitors, so it probably is exactly what they advertise. But I was playing Civ V with the touchscreen yesterday, and that was pretty cool. This is probably the only game that I can comfortably play on it, because playing a first-person shooter on a tiny monitor is a lot more difficult than I realized. Yeah, I used to do it all the time with my old Alienware laptop, but unfortunately, that laptop was purchased in 2009, so Civ 6 it cannot play. At least under Windows 10 it can't. There are no drivers, Windows 10 drivers for its graphics card. Bum, dun, bum, 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 bum. I had a plan for you. I suspect it was more farm stuff. I have no food. No point in building the harbor. Get these moving troops in, huh? Double check my audio levels. Yeah. So yeah, I filmed a little unboxing of the Razer Blade Pro, and we'll hopefully be putting that up later today or maybe tomorrow. I want to film a few more segments for it, just some minor review type stuff. And looks like we have someone in chat. Hopefully, it's someone I know and are willing to talk and keep me talking, because that's really the important part. Hello, whoever you are. And they're gone. I guess it's not that important that I know who they are. So yeah, I want to film a couple more segments just to kind of finish off like a kind of 24-hour experience. Like, is this a good laptop with its pros and cons and that kind of stuff? Granted, in terms of long-term quality of the product and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of hard to do that in a simple review. But so far, so good. Pretty impressed with it. Overall, a couple little things I want to talk about, but depending on who you are, these things may or may not bother you. So. We'll say it's no MacBook Pro, and I mean that in a good way. Who is my biggest rider? I got 132. So for any of you who do end up popping in, I've seen a few people pop in and out so far, but if you just leave a comment on the overall image quality and sound quality, just making sure everything's working. Unfortunately, because of the way all this is situated, I can't check the sound quality without it repeating on stream. So, well, I could over here on my laptop, but the same problem. I don't have headphones plugged into my laptop currently. Yes, it did. That's one of the things I want to talk about on the review. I haven't had quite the chance to actually use all my software yet. Tested out a few games, and that was pretty successful. And I want to leave any of the actual criticisms out until I actually have had a chance to really formulate what I wanted to say and do a few takes on the audio and all that jazz. But keyboard's pretty nice. Very responsive, I guess, is the proper term. Good fair travel, I should say, on keys. It's not. They are a mechanical keyboard, like an ultra low profile mechanical keyboard, but they don't have the same kind of travel that you would get on like a desktop / keyboard type of thing. Pedro's on the run, I suspect. Scythia will be declaring war on him soon. She's either going to attack him or she's going to attack me. I do not know. Definitely want to work her down here. Get the little fishies, and then I need to build the science district. Might be able to get a few. Might be able to get a +2 right here, I think. Might be just a +1. You know, I'm sitting where my head is cut off, but I really don't feel like needing all the way back today. I only just woke up a little while ago. As I was up all night installing software. I'm pretty much done. Although I've used up half the hard drive already. So I only got the 512, so I wasn't going to spend... I guess it really didn't matter, but... well, I guess, you know, if you take the fact that they charge tax on the sale, probably because of what it was and how expensive it was. But I'm going to be ordering a USB Type-C SSD external hard drive. As the kind of main content drive for it. Probably an SSD. If not, I'll go with capacity, but I'll probably, well, I'm sure I'll do both eventually, but it is primarily, I bought it primarily to do one job, so that I had the ability to travel and have adequate performance. I basically bought the laptop for 1 gig. But, it should be good. It is so much thinner than I expected it to be. I took a picture. And I also shot some video of just how much thinner it is versus my old 2009 Alienware M17X laptop. And it doesn't even come up to the ports on the Alienware. It's really thin. It's pretty amazing. And really, all I care about in terms of that is just how much the thing weighs and how easy it is to get into a backpack. Because like I said, I'm going to be traveling with it. It's going to be mostly sitting on a desk. It's going to be my primary workstation. I'm going to see if they'll set me up with a desktop and a few extra monitors while I'm there. We'll see. But they said they had a computer for me, but it wasn't amazing.
Economics is a subject that does not greatly respect one's
wish. Make sure I had a computer so I could actually do the work. And I needed a new laptop. There was no. It wasn't a spur of the moment purchase. I've been planning for a long time, and it's just kind of the excuse I'm going to pull. Surprised he hasn't sued for peace yet. I am trying to move through these turns as fast as I possibly can. I'm not currently in danger of losing the game. Zero growth on that city. Might just have to... First, it's between turns. It may not. I expect it to be at peace already. Bro? No, who's fighting that guy?
The four characteristics of humanism are curiosity, a free mind, belief in good taste, and belief in the human race.
Ah, I see so. Take that, great scientist, thank you. What do you do for me? Sure. No plus twos. Oh, did I capture one of your spies? Yeah, sure. Although I already have stuff. I might have to go to war with you anyway because you're my closest science rival. And that concludes that very short war. But yes, we'd love to show the world that we are friends because I'll probably eventually have to kill you. But that was just a policing action.
We have furthered our...
For a machine to run smoothly and predictably, it's... Several closely situated granite peaks resembling tiger's teeth dramatically soar about a kilometre into the sky.
Isn't that special? Trying to get all my dudes back to my territory so I can do upgrades. I need to shut off the autocycle units. I don't know why I don't ever remember to do that stuff. Probably will put the kind of full 2 hours into this today. Mostly because I'm trying to get through as much as I can. Since I'm only playing while live streaming. So I didn't want to... I'm basically racing against the clock to finish this game before I have to travel. Because I want to keep going, I wanted to do the whole thing. But I didn't want to...
It is
so
arguable
basically, yeah,
whether
basically
the
just wanted
human
to do
race
the
have
whole
been
thing
gainers by
as
the
fast
march of
as I
sun.
can. This map is just full of just very locked off. Hopefully there's a way out. It won't ingratiate me to China at all. I really don't care. It's not really much they can do to me. My goal is basically two things. Lots of science, lots of production. Make sure I earn all the great science that I can. And grid engineers. Speed ahead through the science victory. All them religious guys fighting it out with their lightnings. I love it that this game added wizard battles. Although the truth be, I am from like just a classic Civ perspective. I'm kind of the two minds about that, but I just think it's funny that they added wizard battles.
Whatever is contrary to nature is contrary to reason.
Right. Most likely it will do. Ugh. Has to be along the river and next to industrial complex, so why can't I do it there, right? And I can't do it here, for what reason is that? The only thing I can think of is because it's got horses there, but I don't think that's true. I don't think it's true. Black Cowie's got all the soldiers there. He might... Why am I doing accents all of a sudden? He might attack me. Why do I get the feeling that it's planning to shoot me? I will say that Razer Pro's hard drive speed is insane. It's got two M.2 SSDs, PCI Express SSDs, and they're configured as RAID 0, so it's just stupid fast. Stupid fast. I was saying earlier when Civ 6 was loading on my laptop, loading a map, it was like, it just finished like the first paragraph and it was loaded, ready to jump in. Insane. If I do end up playing more games from the laptop, I'll probably go HDMI to one of my monitors. And then use my capture card, my Razer capture card, to send that signal to my PC for streaming. Well, at least while I'm here, because my desktop isn't traveling with me, unfortunately. It's just way too heavy. Way too much risk in shipping and all that jazz, so. But today I got plugins loaded into After Effects. I got to do all that stuff before doing the final review comments, which is probably why it won't go up till tomorrow at some point. But I need to test it not just in games, but in some of my productivity type software, my 3D applications, my texturing applications, my video production applications. I might actually do the review stuff on the laptop. It's probably the smartest thing to do, to have like some semblance of a real world experience. I don't know why I so struggle with that word. Hyphenated word. I say real, I say world, but real world is hard to say for some silly reason. I do not know why. Ugh. I don't think I held it up in front of the camera yet. It's right here. Pretty cool. The intake fans on the bottom are kind of small. I did end up getting a cooling pad for it just to keep it off my desk. It seemed to get hottest when it was on my desk for some reason. But I got a low profile cooling pad so that it'd be easier to pack. I think height-wise combined, they're about the same height as my laptop, my previous laptop. Well, previous, I still have it right there next to my desk. But oops. It's too slow to work on. I think at best I might use it for an offline render node on occasions. Though, truth be told, it's probably more trouble setting it up than it's worth. And really what buying this laptop for the long term is basically so I can continue to work wherever. So that I can afford to build a new PC next year. and I'm probably going to film that. And that PC is going to be smaller. It probably will be a mini ITX PC, so that I can do. Although I'm debating on which case I want now. For a long time, I wanted the Node 202 just for simple portability. However, my buddy Saham suggested that I do something that can hold 2 GPUs, which I might, for the sake of GPU rendering. Although I could put 2 GPUs in this computer, my main desktop. I might do that instead. We'll see. I have some weird problems with my my graphics card. I think I've talked about this the last week or the week before when EVGA announced the heat thermal problems. And then I've been watching things like Gamers Nexus and Steve Burke's coverage of that. And he led me to think that perhaps my problems aren't necessarily related to temperature, maybe it's something else. It could actually just be that the overclock that's on it, on the card, is too much. I may need to just kind of knock it back a bit. That may solve some of the problem. Which I'll have to play with. Try slowing it down, seeing if I can run Fallout 4 with ambient occlusion and ray trace ambient occlusion in Element 3D, which is a 3D rendering tool for After Effects, third party, made by a company called Video Copilot. If you're into that kind of thing, check it out, because I find it quite handy. 3D is super handy. And that's one of the plugins I have to install on my laptop. Get the feeling I need to make more Explorer units. So we've been streaming for just under an hour. We're at the 58-minute mark. Just passed. Like I said, I want to do the full 2 hours. I don't really want to go longer than that because I got a lot of stuff to do today in regards of doing the review thing. But just trying hammering through these turns as quickly as I can. It's really not a whole lot going on right now. Really, my only option is just to endless war stuff, but I don't want to have the war wariness penalties.
Apart from the sanitation, the medicine, education, wine, public order, roads, the fresh water system, and public health, what have the Romans ever done for us?
I love that anti-Brexit video with Patrick Stewart, where they riff off of that quote from Graham Chapman. What has the European Union ever done for us? Regardless of what your opinion is over the whole Brexit thing, I don't really care. But it was just a very funny video. Did not shave today, or even this week. It's kind of bugging me. I need to trim my beard again. Great googly moogly. I was hoping today we'd have some people to stop in. Jack said he might. It's always easier when you have someone to talk to when you're doing this thing. Try to think of things to keep saying, because I can only say so much. Yeah, I'm going for science victory. I'm willing to kill anyone who gets in my way. Or that. Other than that, just focus on science. Keep my my military upgraded so I can't be attacked. Kind of indifferent to the whole religion thing. And really, the only other thing I can do is scout about at this point and make sure I have access to any and all resources that I need. Probably gonna build the space center over here. Usually I do it on my capital, but I just don't have the production up there. So this is gonna be my new home away from home, I guess. Hopefully I'll be able to do some multiplayer stuff with some friends. I need to try to organize it. The problem is that none of my friends who play Civ VI are in my time zone. So that makes it kind of tricky, especially Dax. I'd love to get him. I doubt he'd even have the time, but Tony might. You know, he's only, I think, one time zone away.
In a market economy, however, the individual has some possibility of escaping from the power of the state.
Je suis Catherine, reine mère de France. Je vous souhaite la bienvenue à mon royaume. J'ai grand désir et envie de découvrir tous vos secrets.
I always wonder how well I do in this game in multiplayer, though, because Civ V, I've only played multiplayer 2 or 3 times. Once with a former roommate, back when the game first came out. And I easily won that one. Despite all the trash talk leading up to it from my roommate, thinking he was a great Civ player.
Chemistry is the dirty part
That might
of
have been
physics.
an earlier version of Civ. I think it was. And then a few other times with my buddy Sam. Which I don't think we ever finished the game. I think it would just became I was too far ahead for him to have a chance, and he lost interest. Oh, I'm fight Scythia. Oh, it's my cover. I was like, but she likes spying. Am I still a Merchant Republic? As soon as I can, I'll hop on over to Democracy. I'll miss those 2 additional trade routes, but I think it's worth it for the civics. Box again. When I got my cooling pad today, there was something else in the package supposedly, but I didn't see it. I suppose if I live stream with friends, probably wouldn't be on a Saturday evening. Probably, if anything, on the evening. We'll see what my situation is once I'm traveling, because supposedly I'll be staying either at someone's house or in like a motel or something, but this is only be for 3 months. Not worth. I don't even think I can get a lease that short. I'll be paying through the nose for it, but still be paying for my house here, so the fact that I shouldn't be paying any rent while I'm down there is a good thing. And they're allegedly hooking me up with a rental car or something. Which is pretty cool. It's the first time someone's done that for me, so that's one of the problems with doing television, is that budgets are so tight that there's really no luxury for that kind of thing to happen.
The best steel doesn't.
My mouse pad's out of alignment, and if I move my mouse pad, my my webcam will shift. I don't really want that to happen. It's always a pain in the neck, because of the limited space I have in this room. That's one of the things. Like if I do move, and have apartment to myself again, like I did last time I was. Yeah, what would you give me? And not giving any gifts to you, mate. Sorry. Then I'll be able to set my Vive up. Be able to set up the green screen to its maximum height. The reason why I can't now is just because there's a coat hanger in here that is at just about the right height for what I've got set up now. If I put my other stand for my green screen to hook up the other thing so I can move it up higher, I wouldn't have as much space because the stance on the stand itself is just too broad because it's up against a wall. So this wouldn't work out. So, because my desk is kind of stuck in here, stuck in a corner here, because I got my bed over there. Should say my summer bed, because it's too hot and too expensive to cool the upstairs during the summer. But now that it's moving on winter, I suppose I could reorganize it. Yeah, but I wouldn't have enough room upstairs for the Vive, and that's a problem. So, yeah, it's just, speaking of the Vive, it does work pretty well on my laptop.
And the discovery of the Terracotta Army, we may say.
The fact that the laptops only have quad cores made me nervous in that regard. I haven't tried it with Elite Dangerous. I only got Elite installed last night.
Remember that politics, colonialism, imperialism, and war also originated.
But if I'm able to, depends whether or not I end up staying at the company full time and having to get my own apartment. It's in a whole different state, so it's kind of the problem. But then I'll have tons of room for the Vive, because I really do not care about furniture at all. I rarely have people over anyway, although I probably would have more people over if I had furniture. But although the Vive would probably make people want to come over, because so few people actually have one currently. Hopefully that changes, because it really is a very cool piece of tech. The only thing I think would throw off most people is the resolution, but basically we're looking to an order of magnitude more performance to get, sufficiently higher resolutions. Running off that thing at 90 frames per second or better. Sure. Less interested in the open borders, but because right now, even with my 1080, like Elite Dangerous, for example, struggles to keep 90 frames per second on the Vive, even though playing locally without the Vive. Not even local, just playing without the Vive, I get like 150, 180 sometimes frames per second, depending on where I'm at. But in some areas, like the last time I think I played Divide 1, 2, 3 songs first. I was getting like 60 frames per second. It was making me really dizzy. Because I was getting close to like some planet, and I was in like this asteroid field, playing with my buddy Sam, and you know, normally you're like, oh, 60 frames per second, that's pretty good, and it's fine if you're not worried about head tracking and all that stuff on top of it. It's just, you need super high frame rates for VR to work correctly. That's why I don't understand the whole phone VR thing, because I think they're limited to 30 frames per second. I just have no idea. I mean, I've never used one, to, you know, full disclosure and to be fair and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, let's do one. Failure. Agent killed. Let's see. Alright. Yeah, I watched On Her Majesty's Secret Service last night with it was the John Lazenby James Bond, the one no one liked. That was an interest. I've seen it before, but I hadn't seen it in a while. That was a trip. The movie made almost no sense whatsoever, especially at the beginning. All the time in the world. It's also where the phrase "the world is not enough" came from, because that was on the Bond family crest, was their slogan. Which is kind of funny, because they, well, not funny, intentionally referencing it in the movie "The World Is Not Enough," which was a Pierce Brosnan James Bond movie. Dog doing? I heard a noise. I don't know what it was. Man, we still got like 40 minutes left. I doubt anyone's gonna watch this all the way through, because I just had nothing interesting to say today. Last week was kind of bad too. The highlight obviously was when Dax was on, but I felt like that was probably my best show, simply because I was interacting with somebody and was able to have a conversation.
Once you have tasted flight, you will walk the earth with your eyes turned skywards, for there you have been, and there you will long to return.
I definitely feel that way. I love flying. What I hate is traveling. I hate the stress, I should say, of traveling. Actual flying, love it. Unless I'm like in a small aircraft, I hate that. But worst flight I ever had was I was traveling from O'Hare Airport in Chicago to Albuquerque, New Mexico, and we were in this tiny plane. And there was this guy in the aisle across from me. He was sick, and he reeked really bad. I'm assuming because he was sick and probably sweaty or something. And the plane was so small that it was like kind of claustrophobic. Not the smallest plane I've ever, but just I felt nauseous that entire flight because of the smell. And that guy, his nose was running. He was wiping it on the seat. I was like, ugh. But it was gross. The second worst flight I was in, it was a fun day. It was a fun event. But I don't do well sitting backwards in like a moving vehicle, and doing it in a jet. It was like a 6-seater private jet. That one of our clients, one of the people who funded one of my clients for a project that we were doing. He was the captain, probably owner of the plane. But because of really small aircraft, they have to balance the passenger and cargo load out. And so they had me sitting in a seat I never would have picked for myself. I did much better on the way back when I was sitting forward. That was rough, and I had even taken Dramamine prior to that, but I held on to it. I didn't lose it.
Myself about heaven and hell. You see,
apparently I was
friends
extremely
in both
pale
places.
the entire time because I was like, ugh. But it was a good day. I was just it was like my first day of work at a new company a friend of mine had started up, who sadly passed away last week, or this week, still this week. But a lot of people have died in 2016. I've lost 3 very important people to me in 2016. Someone's messaging, probably. I guess Dax isn't going to be able to come. That's too bad, mate. But it's not a problem. And I got just about 36 minutes left before I have to pull the plug. But it was a cool flight, just because I hadn't been in one of those really small private jets before. The only fancier private jet I was in, we didn't take off. It was a friend of mine's dad's. He's not the owner, but he was either pilot or co-pilot. But he was just kind of showing it off, but it was really cool inside. I would have liked something like that. It was kind of like the you ever watched the show Criminal Minds, the private jet that they always take in that. It was very much like that jet. Maybe not quite as big. The same basic idea. Oh, it's pretty cool. But the one when I was in Albuquerque, the one I was sitting backwards on, that was an interesting landing. I don't know how much of that landing was done via the computer, but it was like the landing was literally like, we were landing in Santa Fe. We had taken off from Albuquerque, but the landing was like, came down like this and then flared really hard, and then it didn't quite slap down, but it was a really steep landing. It was like, whoa, whoa. It wasn't a hard landing. It was just a very sudden and abrupt. I had heard that it was an autopilot landing. I doubt it was. I just can't imagine the autopilot being that aggressive. But, depending on the mountains and all that kind of stuff, because that, New Mexico, especially northern New Mexico, it's really high. I think Albuquerque is something like 4 miles or something above sea level. And the air's really thin already. And Santa Fe is even higher than that. So... It was a hyper cool day. It's just sitting backwards just did not work. It worked well for me. Yeah, because when I was a kid, we had a station wagon. Well, first we had like a 82 Firebird or 86 Firebird. Maybe it's 86 because we had it when I was in first grade. Which, of course, everyone in the first grade thought it was awesome because Knight Rider was still a thing. But then we got the station wagon, and every time I had to sit in the far back, which was a backwards seat, that always messed me up. But I've always been highly prone to motion sickness, which is why I'm surprised I'm able to use the Vive. That is just a testament to how good, like, Vive and probably Oculus and presumably PlayStation VR. Just a testament to how good those devices are. Because I'm not someone who normally is able to fend off dizziness and motion sickness. Now, occasionally I do get dizzy with the Vive. It's usually due to system performance on my computer, and occasionally, like I'm like sick or something like that. My sinuses are inflamed or something like that. And, pressure.
I have always considered that the substitution of the internal combustion engine for the horse.
Whatever it is, the phone that the phones that you have them on each side. If I have any kind of like pressure on something like that, I think that's a problem. I already have one. Right on my capital. Boom, bada bing. Look at that. Bum, 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 bum.
The natural history of this archipelago is very remarkable. It seems to be a little world within itself.
One of the great scientists requires you to be a natural wonder. I believe it is actually Charles Darwin, which makes that ironic. But But so really the only Vive experience I've had that makes me dizzy is Elite Dangerous, and I suspect because that was with my GTX 1080. I doubt it's a GPU thing. I think it's a CPU thing because this desktop computer has dual 6-core Xeons, but they're only clocked at 2.4 gigahertz. Because even those are really expensive. And that was like half the cost of this computer, which was a $3,000+ computer when I bought it, or had it built by my good buddy Sean. Did a pretty awesome job. Even though I had the computer rebuilt since then, it wasn't his doing. It was me not knowing how to fix or how to solve a problem, and the problem ended up being that one of my CPU fans had killed itself on my CPUs, which I run basically constantly while doing projects. I took it to a different friend of mine because I was in a different state and didn't want to ship the computer. And we ended up putting it in a new case and all that kind of stuff. But then, the next year, CPU fans out again. So, as soon as I build that new desktop computer, I'm probably going to put these CPUs on water. Because the case is huge, it should be able to take it'll probably be one of those all-in-one coolers. Or probably two of those all-in-one coolers. So I can power it. I'll have to see if there's enough power on the board to do two.
The great engineer has...
No point in doing Ruhr Valley. No point in doing that yet. I'm not. I'll probably do it on. It's not the Great Library. It's as always, blanking on a name. Oxford. I always lose my train of thought. Hopefully, still talking about the Vive. I think I was talking about the Vive and performance, CPU performance. So yeah, so I suspect that Elite Dangerous isn't optimized for multiple cores so much. So the faster cores on my laptop, because they will overclock themselves to, I think, 3.4 or something like that gigahertz, which is the fastest per core CPUs I've ever owned, which is cool. Because I went from my laptop, which was a 2.4 dual core 2 duo, to my desktop, which is 2.4s, dual Xeons, but 2.4s. Then my previous computer before that was a 3 gigahertz single core. We're going back a long time. Bought that computer in like 2003, 2004 to do Lost in Space TV pilot that never aired. I think you guys are probably sensing a trend. If anyone ever actually watches this, I doubt it. but unless you're just really into Civ games. Really, I only watch those guys. What do they call themselves? Yogcast or Yorkcast or something like that. Their channel is Civilization. It's the name of their channel. Those guys are pretty funny, but they're always doing multiplayer. And then there's Gamer Zach, who I watch. His Civ stuff. And he does single player. But he's able to talk, and he's very funny. And his accent is incredible. He needs to do like voiceover work. He needs to do characters, you know, in like animation. He needs to voice characters for that kind of thing. 'Cause he's got a great voice. Very like almost high style British accent, except that he's half Malaysian, I think. And so he's got this very interesting element to his accent. It's really nice. I would definitely cast him in something if I could. If I had something to cast him in that was appropriate. But yeah, so hopefully I haven't had a chance to benchmark anything in terms of actual frames per second. I loaded a lead up. I didn't even have my joystick hooked up to it. I was trying to just because last time I had played, I forget why there was something wrong. Either I was using my Vive and I was just getting really dizzy because I was sick, or for some other reason I couldn't get back to a landing location, so I just logged off. I had forgotten that when I loaded it back up on my laptop. But it was I basically just had to fly back home, and performance was great. Of course, it's hard to tell because of the G-Sync monitor. It just makes everything smooth and nice. But which is also another. I'll get into that in a second. Another very interesting thing about the Vive, if you're working off a laptop, that you can do. But I had to fly back to the nearest landing location with just my mouse and keyboard, and all my controls in Elite Dangerous are set up on my joystick on my Bookman. So I had no idea. I'm sitting there fumbling with the keyboard and trying to figure out how to like select locations and go between menu stuff in the side panel, in the navigation panel, and it was just stressful. Performance-wise, it handled it really well. I doubt it was running at UHD. It could have been though, but it felt super smooth and it looked. For Elite Dangerous, it looked really good.
Our military has learned.
It is nationalism which engenders nations.
I am hoping
and not
to get Star Citizen on there soon. See how that performs. I'll probably do that today. In fact, I'm streaming. I don't want to chew up that bandwidth. I was gonna just set it up, but I got about 20 minutes left. But yeah, so I did eventually land. Trying to figure out the controls just as I was playing, because again, I had them all set up on my joystick. So I'm really interested to try that on the Vive. I need to get my joystick set up, which I can't really do while I'm streaming. But and then I'll get get Star Citizen going and see how that is in Might actually do the review stuff tomorrow. The rest of the videos tomorrow and cut it together. Because I want it to be able to test it for the things that I do. Now, I play games, but it's not all I do. In fact, if I was just playing games, I wouldn't have gotten that laptop. I would have gotten, like, Razer Blade Stealth with the GTX 1060 or something. Or just a regular Razer Blade. Or EVGA a C17 with the GTX 1070, just because it's like $1,000 difference in price. But this laptop has a lot of things that I wanted for for work. Like it has the 32 gigabytes of RAM and that kind of stuff. So, and 100% Adobe RGB monitor, which I'm going to have to take a look at, do some like gradient tests, because in Steam, the background of Steam, I see banding, and I shouldn't if it is a proper 10-bit monitor. It might not be a 10-bit monitor. But I also need to check my NVIDIA console to make sure I'm running at the full color quality to see if that goes away. Because if any of you don't know, and if any of you guys do like After Effects or any kind of visual stuff on your computer, and you see a lot of banding, it's a problem, go into your NVIDIA console and change.
If it weren't for electricity, we'd all be watching television by candlelight.
I forget the exact name of the setting, but it's like color quality or something like that, and it's basically, it's got two settings. It's got it's basically like a 8-bit versus 16-bit or 10-bit switch. It doesn't say that. I forget if it's a YUV setting and a number or something like that, but I'll probably cover that in the review now that I'm thinking about it. I need to write this stuff down. Because that could have a direct effect on it. Like my main desktop monitor is a graphics monitor. It's not a gaming monitor, so it's again, it's 100 and some. I think they said it's 100%. So it has higher color precision than the Adobe sRGB requires. I get very, very minimal banding on it. Like if I'm looking for it very specifically, I can occasionally see it, but it's hard to see unless you're looking for it. But it seemed more prominent on the laptop, so definitely gonna have to look into that. But because the monitor is one of the main reasons, color accuracy of the monitor is one of the main reasons I got it, versus like EVGA SC17 or the Razer Blade Stealth, because that also has 100% Adobe RGB color space support. Yeah, and of course the GTX 1080, which I'm currently running off my desktop. I have one, which I've already mentioned, but depending if someone jumps in or not to whatever segment I happen to be talking at the time, but basically the laptop is something I can do a lot of my CUDA-based rendering, like out of After Effects and Premiere.
The industrial heart of Germany
I haven't even
practically
turned it
stopped
on because I
beating.
didn't want to
Hardly anyone
check
works.
my license
Hardly anything ran.
location just yet. Cause
The population of the
next
rural
week I
area
start back.
has to
I
be
wanna make sure
supported
that
by the rest of the country.
to be able to go back and forth. You have to switch the thing in your Adobe profile. You might do it automatically, but it might not. Hopefully it would do it automatically. This is the first time I've had two computers capable of running that software at the same time, where I control the license. forget what company. Yeah, I know what company it was. You know, when
Impressionnant. Il semble que vos
your
espions
desk
soient
has
partout.
multiple computers on it.
Mesdames de compagnie
Hello.
seraient ravies de les entretenir pendant la fête.
That's when I used to work at a visual effects school, and I also got accustomed to just being able to hop around from computer to computer. Do stuff. Fortunately, this game has turned into the grind to the finish. My dog's crying. She's a poor puppy. Why people gotta hate for different ideologies, man? I just don't get that. Please attack me so I can crush you like a worm. I will march on Rome and burn it to the ground. No, I'll just keep it. Did I lose a trade route? Oh, a gun. Got about 12 minutes left, just under. So, I do want to thank everyone who popped in briefly to watch. Probably just was like, oh, what's this guy doing? Oh, nothing interesting. I'm gonna go away now. Or could also been like, oh, snap, I'm the only person here and he's talking to me. Goodbye. There's like the two things that were going through my head. I probably shouldn't have called them out. I should have just said, hey, how you doing? Hi. But if anyone watches this all the way through on on YouTube after it's all done and whatnot, I want to thank you for watching too. If you made it this far, you are a very unique person to have bothered watching me for that length of time. But I do appreciate it. This isn't doing the whole game playthrough thing isn't necessarily the focus of this channel, but it's something I like to do when I can. It's just something I can do that's relaxing and work on my my YouTubing skills at the same time, trying to at least be interesting for a few hours at a time. The primary stuff I want to do with the channel is not focused on me. Just the opposite. I'd rather not be focused on me. I'd rather not be the one on camera, to be honest. But which is, I think, part of why the main thing I'm working on, still in the writing phase, of course, but the main thing I'm working on is an audio drama where I am not an actor. I am just a director. So, because I can't act. I can do stupid voices, but I can't do it in a serious way. So. I am down to 5 trade rounds. Oy. I'm making a pretty penny though. I mean, that's not super high, but the fact that I'm at 5 of 9 is pretty good. But yeah, I mean, I really appreciate anyone who subscribes to my channel and all that kind of stuff. It certainly enables me to reach, the people who are interested in the kind of stuff I do. The various video projects and stuff I do are a lead up to, the audio drama project. Right now, the current thought is that I will release the actual audio dramas on YouTube. Obviously, they'll be monetized that way, just in case. Basically, just in case the unlikely thing happens and a ton of people watch them. But I'm thinking I'm going to. I already have the Patreon account. I just haven't set up anything. But the idea is that I will film like behind the scenes stuff. You'll probably hear me say it as BTS in the future. So behind the scenes stuff, where obviously I have to get some decent cameras. Nothing crazy, but just enough so that we can pass around cameras or whatever while we're doing the recordings and whatnot, and then do like hopefully cast interviews or something, so that people can see how the production was done. And obviously in the beginning it's not going to be anything super amazing, because it's either going to be done in this room, in my garage, or I've even thought about doing it in like a storage thing. I doubt that would necessarily be allowed though by like any kind of like agreement signed, but you never know. As long as you're upfront about stuff like that, they should be at least willing to work with you, or maybe give you an idea or something like that, on how to get around that. Find a location that is workable, because that's really the tough thing. Also, getting power to it might be a problem. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea. Possibly Patreon. And then once that stuff's there, the idea potentially is to do like a GoFundMe type of thing to produce more. I don't want to do it as like a Kickstarter, because that's like a one-shot deal. I want to set up something, and I might be able to do it through Patreon, we'll see. But where people can just donate what they want. Because I don't expect to ever make a ton of money off of it, if any. I mean, the idea, you should always approach any kind of venture like that. It will fail, guaranteed that it will fail. And it's really do it for the experience and to have to make the attempt. And if the fair trade winds or whatever kind of go your way, then something could potentially be successful. But it is so rare, especially since this will be the first thing I write and direct that is shown to anybody. So that's kind of one of the things I hope to push forward on while I'm on this trip, because
I only understand friendship or scorched earth.
I doubt I will have the it's a great channel. That's also scientist points. So yeah, on this trip, I'm hoping I'll have the time to actually write at night or something like that to really flesh out the first 3 episodes, so that I have something worth showing. Because right now the script isn't really formatted the way I want it to be for a radio show, so I kind of have to rewrite it. We'll see, but it also needs to go through several drafts, and I need to get feedback from people, which is undoubtedly the hardest part of this, is actually getting feedback from people. I will tell you, I've gotten exactly one person to read it, and he was very kind about it. But he, few people are willing to offer constructive criticism. So they will say nice things because they are worried about offending people. And I understand that, especially, the hardest thing in the world is to sit through criticism of your work. That's why a lot of YouTubers get really upset when there's like negative comments on their stuff, and that's why I just delete them. I don't even deal with those people. And I know who you are. Or at least the one that's been doing it in the past. He hasn't done it in a while, but I haven't posted anything on the Unreal forums in a while. Yeah, aside from that, so, people have difficulty dealing with criticism, any kind of criticism at all. And so a lot of YouTubers, get really offended by it, and, as long as it's constructive and, you are able to deal with it in a way that leads to a positive outcome, right? So as long as you can show it to the right people who know how to word things appropriately, not just say, oh, this is awful, or this is bad, or worse, to be able to say, this didn't work for me because, or that didn't work, for whatever reason, or it didn't make sense, or it rambles too much like I always do. I mean, like, when I'm writing an email, it turns into, like, book pages worth of information most of the time. My writing tends to be very dense and very specific, and where everyone else I've ever worked with is like, they like 2 or 3 lines, and they're done. They've said everything they need to say, and they're done. And so, trying to do that in a script so that you convey everything that you want to say. You have the mood set that you want to set. The dialogue doesn't sound like baby talk, and that's especially with science fiction. A lot of people they get into the gobbledygook, and it doesn't really work for most people. And that's why Star Trek has, had a hard time in the past, especially in their TV shows, attracting a larger audience, even though they're really popular. It's just that they got too much into the technobabble, and that's really off-putting for a lot of people because it's nonsense. We all know it's nonsense. It doesn't make any sense most of the time. And if it makes sense to you, you're way too deep into it. Because it's not real. As someone who loves that kind of stuff, it's easy to fall into that kind of trap where, I want to describe how, like, the FTL system works, but at least in this case, I am going purely off of stuff that I know is potentially plausible. It's like that Alcubierre style, like, warp drives, and even the designs of the ships and stuff take that into account. So, I just try to stay to the whole physics as close to real physics as I can, because it makes the most sense, like, at a glance. You don't have to go too deep into it. In fact, the main characters
To err is human.
don't really know all that much.
But to really foul things up, you need a computer.
And that's actually part of the story. So, being able to convey all that type of stuff and make it work is hard. And you also want the scripts to flow. You want them to be easy to listen to, and hopefully easy to re-listen to if the story's good enough. Not that it will be, because this is gonna be the first time I've sat down and written stories from beginning to end. I have a lot of ideas, but sorry about that. But actually getting them to the end phase is the hardest part, and that's part of why I want to do this. Is as much for me as it is for the sake of entertainment and making something that people enjoy. Because once you've actually finished something, completed something, put something out, then you have the right to be critical of anyone else who has done so in the past. So we all have our own thoughts and theories about, oh, this movie should have done X, Y, or Z, and it would have been awesome, and that kind of stuff. Unless you've actually been through the process and have completed something, put it out there, even if it's garbage, you then at least get enough street cred to have an opinion. And, we all can talk about what we like and dislike, and for the most part, that's fine. But when it actually comes to actually having a serious criticism on people, and this is why I always support, doesn't matter how silly the idea is or whatever, I always support my friends and people I know, and really anyone else, when they do like some kind of project. I used to work for a guy that was doing the same project over and over and over and over again, literally the definition of insanity, but I always supported him, at least in the attempt to make something that was good and worthwhile, because it could be, if he managed to stumble onto the magic to make it work. It doesn't necessarily have to be what I would do. I had my own ideas, about how I would make it better, at least in the way I think. But obviously, that's all subjective anyway. It doesn't really matter. And he and I had discussions about that kind of stuff in the past, and because I had my own vision on how that type of stuff should work, he wasn't very happy about that. But again, it all comes down to, can you take constructive criticism as it's presented to be helpful, and not just being mean or nasty or rude or anything like that. Well, guys, I am just over the 2-hour mark, and I want to thank everyone again for watching. If any of you actually end up watching or even getting to this part of the video. I think the last kind of 5-10 minutes of it were probably the most interesting, because I had something to say throughout that part. But again, thank you all for watching. I will try to finish this game up before I have to move, and it's only a few weeks away, so it'll be probably the first week or two of January, if not like right away, January 1st. They want me on a plane. We'll see. Probably not the first, but maybe the second or third. We'll see. But again, thank you all for watching. It got really fun there for me at the end, because then I got to talk about stuff. But if you like this kind of stuff and you want to see more of it, please let me know. Like, subscribe, leave comments. Again, constructive criticisms are better than just stupid people spouting off because they like to be jerks. I don't know, but like I said earlier, I will just delete stuff that I think is off the mark there. But yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time, guys. Bye.